Hi everyone, welcome to another week of my life as a DPhil student at the University of Oxford. This week I'm super happy because it's forecasted for sun throughout the week, and as you can see, spring has arrived and all the flowers are in bloom. I love the magnolia trees, which are just absolutely breathtaking, and we can see the clear blue skies and the sun shining on the buildings, and everything just looks like there's hope for the future. This is the Middle Eastern Library view from the road, designed by Zaha Hadid. Sometimes it's called a slug, and you can see why. I decided to walk this morning because the sun was just so beautiful and warm. It was around 12-13 degrees, and you can see that the tables are out on the lawn. In St. Anthony's, we can walk on the lawn here, and somehow this 70s architecture is growing on me. Hey, so I'm walking to the Radcliffe Science Library today, and we have to walk through the university parks to get there. It's a beautiful walk and a great way to start the morning. So something that's really important while studying is to really take care of your well-being or mental health. And I find for me that just taking a walk in nature, in the park, really helps calm you down, whether it's in the morning or at the end of the day, and just looking at flowers really help. So the university parks is really quite big. I've never really walked around the whole park. I'm just a section of it, and it pops right up in front of Keble College and the Museum of Natural History, which is right next to where the Radcliffe Science Library is. And this week, or today, I've decided that I'm going to really come here because they have therapy dogs coming in to visit during noon. And that's one of my motivation to come to the library. I love dogs, I love cats, I love any kind of animals, and I think they're just really good for your soul. So that's another great thing about the University of Oxford, is they have a lot of these well-being events, which is really, I think Oxford speak for, things to help with your mental health. And they want to make sure that you are being looked after, both mentally and physically. So sometimes it's a form of dog therapies, or sometimes it's a form of having arts and craft sessions in the evenings in the well-being room, which is at the bottom of the library. Or sometimes they have like pizza sessions where you can come in and talk about your research, or even sometimes tea. So yeah, it's a great resource for students to make sure that they're also mentally ready to work, because if you're too stressed, you're not productive, and that's no good. Yeah, so this is Monty. Welcome to the dog therapy sessions. Monty was so sweet. He's so cute. And we got Pedro the Chihuahua. Sadly, I don't remember the name of the Spaniel mix. But this is also a girl, but doesn't she look like kind of like a Walter? But anyway, she was completely loved by everyone. And she got a lot of tummy rubs, and you can just see her tongue sticking out at the end. It's so cute. Alright, so I've just come out of the library, and today I was pretty productive. I managed to clear out some of my dots that were not very clear before, and I'm going to enjoy the sun a little bit, looking at this Natural History Museum before I head back. The museum is free for everyone to visit, so you can hop in any time of day just to go in and browse around, looking at T-Rex and other dinosaur fossils, to be kind of inspired and look at the wonders of nature. And I see something new every time I go. So one of the perks of being a student at Oxford is you can visit any of the colleges for free. You just show them your ID and they'll tell you where you can visit. And I was just walking past Keble College, and I thought, I've never really looked inside the college or even gone into the chapel. So on the way home, I'm just going to hop into that chapel right there and see what it looks like inside. But just the quad itself is so beautiful. this is inside the chapel, and those mosaics on top are just fascinating. My phone doesn't do it justice at all. I'm taking this with my iPhone, and so I don't know why, but the lights seem to flicker a little bit. Those are organs, and they've actually painted. Wow, that was a pretty amazing experience. So as I was just looking around the chapel, I suppose they just suddenly started practicing on the organ, and it was just amazing to hear the music. I think you can hear it still a little bit in the background, but yeah, it was just an amazing experience. And they do have organ recitals every Thursday during term time. And it's free. So you should really visit if you are in passing Keble. And all the other colleges also, not all, but a lot of colleges which have chapels, and they will have evensongs. And the great thing is that it's a free entrance to all. So yeah, that's a great Oxford experience. I really enjoyed that. Okay, so I've just had a full morning working in the library. Another very productive morning, and I just realized I forgot to bring my packed lunch. So luckily, this library is right next to Reuben College, and which they allow other college members, other non-college members, to also go and eat there. So that's why I'm going to go have lunch today. Reuben College is right next to the Radcliffe Science Library, and it's just the next door over. My friend, who's a member of the college, took me around to see the rooms that they have. This is a little hangout room with a bar, and they have a beautiful staircase, I think, with the most beautiful lights going up to, this is what we call the common room, and this is where the students are able to hang out and just chit and chat, play games, read books, and just kind of be at their own living room. So the dining hall is, I think, very beautiful. They have a section in front which is for quick grab and go. You know, if you don't want to really sit down and eat, you can just buy something quickly and go. But today I'm having some hot food, and the menu today is chicken, and I'm having it with broccoli and potatoes. It was a total of £6, which is pretty good. But they also great plant-based food selection here. So if you're vegetarian or vegan, I think Reuben College has one of the best selections, and they make sure that you have all the proteins and nutrition. And this is the little cafe, which is right in front of the Natural History Museum. And so we went for a little coffee and hot choc. And I'm back here at the library working on my paper. I always have a notebook with me because sometimes you're thinking of something that you want to write in a paper. You don't know exactly where it's going to be yet, but this is an idea or thought that you want to put in the paper somewhere. And so I always like to have a notebook where I write those ideas down. Sometimes when I'm reading a paper and then the idea comes to me that, oh, this is a good point. You know, this is something that could be relevant to my piece of research, and this is something I could reference, then I'll jot that down in my notebook, and then when I'm writing it in my paper, I refer to these ideas that I've had while reading. So this is something that works for me, but everybody has their own system. I've just finished my 4-hour work session at the library. I did a lot of writing today, which I'm really happy, but one thing is, if you see a student who's just left the library after a long session, you can tell that they are a bit dazed. So, they usually don't make much sense when they're speaking afterwards, and that's how my brain feels. So I'm just gonna take a little seat. See, I'm just gonna have a little sit here and kind of relax my brain a little bit, and before I walk home. I really enjoy being able to walk back through the park after a day at the library, and today I just found these beautiful purple crocus that were just sprouting everywhere on the grass, and these narcissus were just dancing in the fields. Reminds me of Wordsworth's poem on daffodils. And this is the next morning. I walked past the Oxford violins, and I really appreciate the craftsmanship, of making violins, even though I don't play it, but it's amazing. I'm back at my favorite library for the week. I love this desk. I like having the light come in through the left side of me. I find that it doesn't, when I'm writing in my notebooks, the light doesn't block the page, and I'm able to, because I'm right-handed. So this really works for me. And also the afternoon sun comes in on the right side of the library. So it's, best to have the light on the left. And I got there pretty early, so there's no one there. I finished the day making myself some ravioli with white sauce that I found from my nest. I put in mushrooms and spinach. And Friday it was cloudy, so I took the bus into the library and spent a whole day where I'm happy to say I did finish my draft of that I set my goal to. So I'm really happy about that. So if you enjoyed this vlog, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Goodbye.